Hi Internet viewers, Frank Rauscher again. We are working on the owl and we had marked the face and we did the tufts and we put the line work in through here, and what we're going to do is we're going to continue on and I'm going to show you how to texture this. We're going to burn it. We're going to use a burner, and I would say it's between a 5 and a 6, but no burner's the same. I happen to be using an Optima 1, but there is other units, and you have to determine what temperature range you're burning on, because that can make a big difference, especially the way we're working it. And I'm working with, and I'll show you the differences when I bring the camera down, of the different tips that may be available that you may want to use for this type of burning. Okay, so bear with me and I will move the camera down, and then we can start in on the burning and you'll get a good idea on how we do this. Okay, we're back again. And what I want to show you is there's several tips that we could use that I favor as far as doing straight line work or even curved work or any of the detailing that we need to do the burning in here. And I'm going to show you several pens. This one here that I use is called a P12S, which is real thin, and it's got a rounded heel, and that works out really nice. And the other one, this is a P12, and this is rounded. What's nice about this is you have more surface that you can control, but most of the type of burning we're going to do is going to be with the point. So you're using the point most of the time, so you're raising the P12 up a little higher, as the same way with the P12S. And then you also have the spear shape pen, which is ideal. It goes right to a point. So when we press down and pull, this is ideal as well. So you got 3 pens you can go with. Any one of them will do a real nice job. The P12 is like the one right in the middle there. It gives you your point. At the same time, it's a rounded heel, which allows you to make curved lines. You can do it with any of them, though. All of this will work. So I just wanted to show you these pens. This is the Optima pens, but they interchange with a lot of units. So I do have these available if anybody's interested in these, but I just want to show you that these are very comfortable to use, and so are the unit too. The Optima unit I like it very much, but a lot of them work and a lot of them will get you there. So if you have something already, use it, you know. And what I want to also do, I came in on this bird and I drew lines that I'm getting tongue-tied, that radiated out from the center of the eye. And remember, we quartered this off and then quartered again and again until you got enough lines coming out that you can follow. What you're doing is you're setting these lines up so you don't have to think when you're starting to burn. When you're burning, you're just following lines. And it's not like you want to keep them straight, but you don't want to go zigzagging all over the place. You want to try to go as straight as you can so that this gets radiated from the center out. It really shoots out, and you're trying to do that. And you want to get enough pencil lines in there so that you have the direction you want to go, you know, and you don't have to think about it when you're burning, and it gives you definite direction. And I tried to get as many lines in there as I can, especially when we're burning. The pencil lines are just directional, but once you're starting to burn, you're following them, and that really helps. Now, I'm going to teach you a couple of tips on these C feathers. I call them C's. And what I do, I'm going to get a block of wood here, and I hope you can see this well, is I'll make C's, and what I'll do is I'll make a C. Now, I'll talk about directional lines here where these C's are flowing this way on the head and down the middle, and then they come off from the side of the face, and they sort of go in this direction and this direction, as we talked about in the last video. And this is, say we have a direction. I'm going to do this on a flat piece of wood so you can see it. But say this was coming down, then turning, and then this turns this way and this turns this way. Or if you want it to go straight, you have it go straight. Well, your C is this. Like this here is in the middle of that line, but the line's just a directional line. It doesn't matter. When you're building the feathers sort of lay in a pattern going down, and if this is all curving downward, what I do is I try to get the ends of the C to be in the direction of those flow arrows. So I'll come in here and put something like that. Then I'll come in here and sort of, even though I don't have a flow arrow over there, I can go in that same direction. My C is turning with the flow of the feathers, and the feathers do have like a direction, okay? And I'm exploding some of these C's up. We will have some that'll be this big on the bird, but you're going to get into ones that are really tiny, and I'm going to do a couple of them down here too, and these are a little more exploded for what's on the bird, but I'll do a couple of these small ones here just to give you an idea. And I try to piggyback them a little bit, but I offset them. I don't want everything coming right off the center of the other feather. You sort of stagger it a little bit. And don't do this, da-da, 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 going across, and da-da, da-da, da-da. You don't want to do that. You want to do it individually, and you can make one a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, you know, but they're increasing as they go down, okay? So I just want to let you know that. Now, I did this so that I could show you how I burn, okay? I'm going to get a burning unit here, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to do the biggest, well, we'll take this feather right here. Let me do this. This feather right in here, I'm going to sort of shade it so you can see it. This is the one I'm trying to do. There is no quill. Some of the feathers will have quills, but in the case of what we're doing now, there is no quill that you can see. So we're going to do this feather right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn on the leading edge. And what I mean by that is none of the C gets burnt. It's what's in front here. This is a leading edge through here. This is a leading edge through here. And this is a leading edge through here. And this is the whole feather right here. So what I do is I burn deep on the leading edge because I'm trying to depress this whole thing. And if you do it right and you get the point in and you lift as you come out, it depresses all this line work up in here. And it looks like you want an undercut it. So you don't even have to do that. You're just doing it with the burning pen. So this starts flaring out towards the left of that center one, and then it goes to the right, and you're burning all along that leading edge, okay? And you start up here. And I'm going to do that for you. Now here's another one here. And I'm going to start like in the center of the C, and then I'm going to flare out to the left, and I'm going to flare out to the right. And I'm going to show you how I do that, okay? So let's go with this one right here, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to come in. Let me get my glasses on here. I'm going to burn in and pull. So I push in, and you got to practice this. This I make look easy. And what I do is I try to keep the feathers, they don't have to go all the way back to the end, but you're like pushing in and then flipping out. And it takes some practice. Now maybe some of you have got this down from previous birds, or maybe not, but that's the idea. And what you're doing is you're getting the darkest burn up here, because this tip is hot, and once you push in, that's the hottest burn you get. So it depresses everything along this edge here and over here and over here. And if you notice, as you come out, it dissipates. You're sort of lifting slightly. So I'm going to do another one here. So here we go. I'm going to come down the middle, and you noticed I didn't get all the way to the end because I'm sort of pulling up as I go away. And I'm going to start radiating this out. And the other trick too is you're trying to keep these feathers, the lines, the burning lines, I should say, all in the as close as you can get. Okay, you don't want big gaps in there. And I make it look easy, and in the beginning, I didn't think this was easy, okay? I'm just letting you know that. And then I'm going to do this one right next to it, and I'm going to come in here. I come down the middle, and almost made it to the end there, and then I burn deep on the leading edge, and I'm flaring out to the left, and I go all the way up to all the pencil lines, and then it's this line I'm following and this line. So over here, I'm going to flare it out to the right. If you notice, I push in and then pull out and lift up at the same time. It's sort of like an act we do. And then I'll do this big one out in the back here. And again, you can sort of, as the C's point downward, you can strike your first line right down the middle, one that would be the center between the two ends of the C, and then flare out from there. But it's the trick is to follow that pencil line in front, and so you're concentrating on that, and at the same time, you're trying to get all the feathers together. It gets you to practice. You got to practice this, and if you do it right, you're actually texturing down here, but it's so light that you don't see it, and that's fine. But you've depressed this part so that when we actually go to finish this bird, your detailing is there. It's there already, and it'll show up, and that is a big thing. I'll do a couple more just to get you thinking about this. Here's another C. Here's the C here. Notice this is coming down, so I try to follow that direction, and I'll do one more. So I'll do these two, and then I'll get to these little guys. Now here, it's just one big loop up here, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that is your leading edge. So I burn down the middle, flare out to the left, and I'm pivoting as we go. So you're trying to think of a few things to do as you're doing this. So it takes some practice, and I thought there was some magic to this at one time, and then I finally got it. So that's what you're looking for. And then I'm going to do one more. Here's the C here, this one. And the leading edge is all of this, of the feathers in front. So I burn deep right on that line. And then I put my first strike down the middle. And then I get shorter and shorter because I don't want to blow past this feather line in the back, the full C. I want to stay within it. So if you go past it, no big deal. But I mean, you want to try to stay. If you notice, I'm like flickering. And if you miss a spot, you can go right back over it again. You know what I mean? But you're shortening the outside edge and you're lengthening the inside edge a little bit. And that's that. Now, for these guys up here, they get really little. So you got to get this point, almost a pen going up straight. And then you're doing the exact same thing, except you really got to get the tip in there. Okay? And in some cases, we're just putting some lines in. They're so small that we try to go for the direction and everything else, but you'll see what I'm talking about. It gets so small that you can't do too much to it. I'll put another feather in here. So that, here's another C. That's what I call them, C's. Some are elongated feathers, and you'll see that as we go along too. So my leading edge is this and this. So I'll strike a shot right down the middle and go to the left. And I'm always burning. And then these get shorter, and I use the tip to just, you got to practice. So that's a nice look. It really is when you get done. So I'm going to start in on this guy, and I'm going to show you. Now we're going to actually do it, but I'm going to be doing straight line work, okay? So I'm going to follow one of these lines out. I'm going to put my burning pen down, and I'm just following this right out to the edge of the face. And then I'll take another shot right here. Take that out, and then I'll do another one. It's just like what you do with the pencil, where you quartered it off each quadrant, and then you come back and go between them. And the thing you need to do, they don't have to be perfect, but if you can keep it straight and texture every square inch of the face, and you want to keep like the same pressure too. So just let the pen just glide right on through. You pick a temperature. You don't want to torch it. This one here, remember, it came straight down, so I'll come in and come straight down on this one, and then I'll flare out a little bit on the next one, and we flared out on the next one. Now you see there's a lot of gapping going on here, but I'm just trying to capture the direction of the lines. Now I can come back and I can fill in between, and just don't be afraid. Just come in and stroke your lines in, and just take your time. Just relax when you're doing it, and we'll get all of this as we go here. So this is way to accomplish getting all that line work. And you don't want to leave gaps if you can possibly help it, even if you have to sort of just drag it through like I'm doing right now, and fill the gaps. And even if you have to turn it around and go this way to get to the ends, you know, as long as you're staying in the direction of the burn, that's fine. Now, I'm going to come up in here. And come right across. And I'm just following some lines in there just to show you how I'm breaking that up. And then I'll come in between. And I want to get, I don't want to see much white in there. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get every square inch with a textured line that's burned in. Now, because this is rolling a little bit at the ends, you may want to reverse the burn, and I'll show you how to do that too. So I'm coming in, and here's the one where we came straight across, then we inch down, radiate it out, then we come back and fill the gaps in between. Okay. So like that. Then you get up to the tuff here. Hope I'm not out of the camera range again because I tend to drift. I apologize if I did. I'm going to come in here, and I'm trying to get everything. Now when we come up around near the brow here, I'm going to get my pencil lines and make sure I'm going in the right direction. I'm pivoting around, but I don't want to go into this grouping of feathers here, these C with the C's. I'm going to come just into the hole and up and out, see, like so. Hope you can see this well. I'm just going to have to review my camera work sometime because I tend to drift and I don't realize I'm drifting. Now over here, when you got this coming straight across, and then you want to just touch the beak. You don't want to go into the beak. If you could possibly help it. Okay. So I'm going to pivot this right here, coming around. And I'm staying off of what I call this brow line. It's a bunch of little C's. And I'm pivoting all the way around. Like so. Now, I got to do a little bit more up in here. I really didn't cover everything back here. Coming right there. So we're getting close. Now on the beak side here, I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to just get onto the beak just a little bit. And again, still keeping the same direction of the burn. Okay. So that you could capture all of it right out to the end. Okay. And then we can get a little bit up in here. And again, I hope I stay in range so that you see it all. Now I'm going to turn this around this way so I can get to the ends here. As long as I'm keeping the line work in the same direction. Doesn't have to be so exacting, but if you notice, I try to get as close as I can so that there's no white showing, just about, almost. And you're almost getting every part of the surface have a texture, at least for the width of what we can do with the burning pen. Okay, now that we get that done, what I'm going to ask you to do is go right into the eye with your line work as it pivots around, and I want to burn in deeper inside. Not deeper, but deep into the eye, I should say, with the same direction. So watch as your as your feather work, the line work, I should say, you're following that right into the eye so that I get deeper and deeper into that eye. Doesn't have to go all the way back, but at least turn that corner of the edge of the eye, and I go in, and it sort of knocks down that edge we have of the hole, and we go in, because when we set the eye in, the eye is going to have go deep, not real deep, but you don't want to see something that isn't burnt within the eye itself. So I'm just going in. It's not real deep. It's maybe a couple of millimeters in or something like that, you know. And I'm doing that all the way around. And if you didn't get it all this time, when we go to set the eyes or something like that, you can go back and touch that up too. So you can see I've gone into the eye. I hope you can anyway. And you can see I've textured it. It's almost like the lines look like they keep on working its way into the hole, but not all the way down. Something like that. And if I see some here that I got the whites showing, so I'll just go back and touch it up so that I have a uniform darkness from the burn. So that's how you do it on the face here. Now, I want you to do it on the other side, and I'm going to skip that so that you can do that. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. These guys here, as far as the little ones right up front, bear with me here a second. These right in here are real small, so you can't do too much. So just like we said with the C's, I'm trying to burn the leading edge. So the first one is almost right up against the beak. So I'm coming in here, and I'm just going to stroke a couple of lines to the right and to the left. It's really tiny. Then the next one is really tiny too. And I'm flaring it out as best I can. I'm doing the same thing. Then I'm going to do another one. Now, the center's a little longer. The outside edge, it gets smaller. So where all the pencil line is, the C's in the back here, this is the leading edge up in the front. So I go in after that, and I'm fanning around that. Then I do the next one, and it takes some practice, especially the little ones. They're really kind of hairy, and you got to use just a point. You're using your point rather than the whole surface. Okay, you're just trying to get in there. A spear shape pen on something like this really works out pretty nice. But any one of them can do it. It's not like you have to have that. Okay? So, and it doesn't take much to get all the texturing on it. Okay, so there's the one side done there. Now, I'm going to show you how to do, these are a little bit bigger up here, but not much more. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to take the center and flare out. I'm taking the edge of the brow here as my start. Now, when I go to do the next one, it's right here. I pan to the left and pan to the right, and I'm burning the leading edge. And like I said, I make it look easy, and it isn't. Now, I didn't put any directional thing. Remember, I was showing you with this block of wood, there is no like quill or anything like that. So you're pivoting. Here's a bigger one here. So I'm going to come right down the middle. And I didn't go off the feather line. I'm within the feather with the markings. And it doesn't have to be all the way out to the end. Like the face is done. See? You have a little white on the back end. So I strike and pull up. Strike and pull up. And at the same time, I'm pivoting. I'm going left and I'm going right. Here's a bigger one now. So I go in here and I pivot out to the right, or to the left, I should say, and then to the right. And I try to keep them kind of tight if I can. And then I'll do a couple here. I hope you can see all this. And then over here. And as I said, these feathers got bigger as they came back, so let me get back a little bit further and you have a better chance of seeing what's really happening there. These little ones can test you. So, and I try to get the line work as close as I can. And what I'm using is an Optivisor, and I have these are magnifiers. If anybody's interested, I have ones with lights, which really help, and it has other lenses that you can that comes with it, and they're really nice. So if anybody's interested, give me a holler. I don't have them in my catalog, but I do carry them, and anybody that may want them, let me know. They're not that expensive. Now I'm getting into the bigger feathers. Let me finish this one. I gotta make sure I'm getting the leading edge because I'm trying to depress the area in front here of the feather. Now here's a bigger one that I guess you can see, I hope. I come down the middle and then I flare to the left. And then I flare to the right. And this gives you a neat look, even from the start, you know, like it looks like feathers are starting to grow just the way you burn them. So I've had some people that burned birds, and when they got done, they didn't want to paint it. They wanted to leave it just the way it was. So that happens too. If you do it really well, burning could look really unique on a piece of wood that's been shaped, you know, like these owls or something like that. Here's a bigger one now. So I burn on the leading edge and I pivot to the right, or to the, I don't know why, I'm going to my left and I'm saying right, but it's right and then left of center, both cases. And then you get into a bigger one, come down the middle, flare out to the left, and then I flare to the right. And you really get a neat look. At the same time, it really pulls this together. It really does. The owl looks kind of neat after it's been burnt for this texturing, the way we texture it. And then I'll get a couple more, and then I'm going to go for the tufts. I'm going to show you the tufts. But it's always the leading edge. And like I said, if you have a chance, just get a piece of plywood, and draw it on that, and just go at it. That's a piece of basswood too, but you don't need that. You can just get a piece of plywood, sand it a little bit, and then mark your C's on there and practice a little bit. And some of you, I had students that picked this up right away, and then other ones had a hard time. They had to practice. So, but you can see, you get a real nice look as we go here. And I'm going to show you one that I got further along. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Now, I'm going to do this tuft. And let me get these little feathers up front here that I didn't get yet. There's a couple more that lead on up to the tuft that we marked in with pencil. And there was one little one right here. Now, the tuft up here works the same way. We have this coming around here. So I'm going to just strike a line right down the middle. Then I'm going to flare to the left and stay within my tuft. I'm going to flare to the right. And they're rolling, so you got to drag them a little bit more. Like so. Now, I'm going to do the next one. The next one is back here. So I'm just got a little bit. It's like the leading edge. And I'm flaring to the left. And that's all the way down into here. So watch what I'm doing here. This is coming all the way down that way because our line work went down that way. And then we got the line work on this way. So now we're going to flare to the right. And these are coming all the way down into here. And we're just doing that leading edge. Okay. And then we pick up the next one. And again, it's the point. Getting just a point in there. And then I come down and follow my pencil line down on the leading edge. I'm doing the leading edge over here. And this gets real tight, but it's just little strokes, just little strokes. See? And then we got the last one, and that's here. Now, we're not going to finalize this tuft because I'm going to show you some other things later with the wood burning one here where we really split these tufts. So I'll show you that later. But right now, I'm just trying to get you to see how the wood burning actually textures a lot of the feathers here and really makes them stand out. So you can come right up to the edge on this. And there you go. Okay? Now, I want you to do this as far back as we stopped, and then we'll add more on. And I'll show you how to do that on the next video. But I want you to do this tuft, and then this one, and then do this brow and this over here. Now, the real toughy ones here are these real little ones, and you're only putting like little lines in. And I'm just going to get the tip, the point, and just hit it. It's just going to be like little lines in there. And I'm just trying to get the leading edge, and it's really tiny. And I'll show you how we do this one. Hope I'm in range again and not out. Then get a little one in there. Now, I'm not trying to touch the beak if I could possibly help it. And we may come in here and touch this up afterwards too. But right now we're trying to identify all the little feathers in here. And for some, it may be easier to lift some of these by undercutting all the C's and then doing this. So that's another way of doing it too. There's a couple of different ways of approaching this. Another one here. And one more here. So that's how we try to do that. And this half, just to show you what it will look like when you get that much done. There it is there. There's both sides done and both tufts done and some of the head work burned in. So I hope you got something out of this video. I'm going to show you more as we go and try to get everything flowing. We're going to mark up more of the feathers on the bird, and I'm going to show you how to burn them as we go. A lot of this is going to be duplication, so I'll do little patches here and there, but you're doing the same thing. And it'll be easier when you're doing these bigger feathers coming down because they're much more, you can see them readily, and well, like doing real small ones, you know, I didn't do the ones in here yet, but you can see it's just little strokes that you can get in there, and we'll play around with them a little bit more too, but this is the general gist of it, and it really gives you a neat look, even when you get to the point of you have to learn the depth of cut, you know, that you're burning. You know, you don't want to torch this where you have such a hot tip that it gets, you know, like you're charcoaling it. You're not. Like I said, on my setting, I got it between a 5 and a 6. It depends on what your unit's doing, and you want to get a look similar to this. So I hope you got something out of this one. If you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. If you also subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that greatly. And if you know of anybody that may be interested, if you can put them onto my channel as well. And if anybody needs anything, I have kits available. I have the burning units. I have the burning pens. Anything you may need, definitely contact me through my email, and we'll get in touch and see if we can't get you rolling to do the same thing we have here. And again, practice. And you may want to explode feathers that are bigger and do a little smaller ones and practice that before you go and do this. Now, some of you may be able to do this right off and have the ability to do it. I didn't in the beginning, so I'll be honest with you. But you get there. You really get there. So see you on the next video, and we're going to keep on burning because we got a lot to do, and I got to do some more marking for you and everything else, but we're trying to do so much each time. When we get back to this one, I'll do this side as well. So, but this is the one that's finished on both sides. This is the one I'm working with you, and I will get this all done on both sides, and you can see it. And then I'll do a little more in the back here where I was starting it. You could come down, and I think we covered it to about here. So if you can get some of that going, that'd be great. And then I'm going to show you what other feathers come in here and the shape of them, and then we'll start on the wings. and stuff like that, and do the mantle and everything else. We've got feathers coming in here and here, coming down. We're actually going to lift a lot of these. So get ready. We're going to have fun, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.